Good morning, everyone. So today I will be giving you the demo on how to work with data warehouse using the OLAP software. So particularly, we are going to use the Talend software, which I already shared to you last week. So for the objectives of this lecture is that first you should be able to know how to create star schema and or snowflake schema, and you should be able to execute data warehouse using OLAP application. So first, let us know the general information for a star schema. So it is a relational database management schema for representing multidimensional data and the simplest form of data warehouse schema. It contains one or more dimensions and fact tables. The ERD between dimensions and fact tables resembles a star when one fact table is connected to multiple dimensions. So when you're going to design a star schema, you need to consider the following. Number one is you need to identify the business process for analysis. Example, you wanted to identify or you wanted to analyze your sales. And then you need to identify the measure of facts. How will you, or what will be your basis for sales? And that is sales in dollars. Example, so the amount of sales. And then you have here identify the dimensions for facts. So what are the dimensions that will be related for you, that will be related or connected to your fact table? For example, product, location, time, organization. And you need to list the columns that describe each dimension. And you need to determine the lowest level summary in a fact table. Now let's go to familiarizing or defining snowflake schema. When you say snowflake schema, it describes a star schema structure normalized through the use of outrider tables. So dimension table hierarchies are broken into simpler tables. It is also considered to be an extension of a star schema. For a snowflake schema, these are its characteristics. You have it uses smaller disk space, and it's easier to implement. A dimension is added to the schema, and due to multiple tables, query performance is reduced. Now, another characteristic is a user smaller space disk. We're done with that. So let's go to let's compare side by side star schema against snowflake schema. So when you say star schema, hierarchies for the dimensions are stored in the dimension table. And when you say snowflake, on the other hand, its hierarchies are divided into separate tables. Star schema contains a fact table surrounded by dimensions table, while snowflake schema, one fact table surrounded by dimension table, which are in turn surrounded by another dimension table. Star schema only uses single join. It creates the relationship between the fact table and any dimension table, whereas a snowflake schema, it requires many joins to fetch the data. Star schema has a simple database design, while snowflake schema is a very complex database design. And denormalization of data structure and query also run faster when you are using star schema. For snowflake schema, you have a normalized data structure. And then star schema has higher level of data redundancy, and snowflake schema has very low level data redundancy. Star schema uses single dimension table contains aggregated data, while snowflake schema data are split into different dimension tables. And star schema uses cube processing, while snowflake schema cube processing might be slow because of complex join. Then star schema offers higher performing queries. This is fine. queries using star join query optimization, and tables may be connected with multiple dimensions. So when you say Snowflake schema, on the other hand, it is represented by centralized fact table, which unlikely connected with multiple dimensions. So let us now have a, what do you call this one? A sample of a star schema. So this is a star schema. Notice that you have one fact table and dimension tables are connected directly to the fact table. So it forms a star when you created the fact table and its dimension table. On the other hand, for a snowflake, notice that fact table are connected with dimension table, and dimension tables are also connected to another dimension table. So the difference between snowflake and star schema is that snowflake is expanded, it's the normalized table. Normalized table, so you will include all the dimension tables and its sub tables or subtypes. So in the snowflake schema, you are including in your dimension table the parent-child tables for that particular database. On the other hand, for the star schema, you what do you call this one? You apply denormalization so that you can generate single dimension tables that will be connected to a fact table. Okay, so now let's go to the demonstration of OLAP. So in this case, we are going to use talent. So let me share my talent on my screen. Okay, where's my talent? So I already launched my talent. So in this case, I have created already a new job. I created a folder for the job, and then under each folder I have here different jobs for my data warehouse. And for the metadata, this is where you will load your data sources. So you can have, if you expand, you can have a database connection, you can have XML, or you can have Excel file, or you can do JSON file. But I will not go into JSON file. I'll just focus on data sources coming from a database. So okay, so I've created data connection. So I'll create another data connection. So let me create. So I'll just right click on DM sales. Before you can create or start doing your job, you have to populate first your data sources. So I'll create on the folder where I wanted all my database connections are placed. So and then I'll right click on the DM sources folder. I'll go to create connection. And then this database connection window will pop up. So what you have to name your connection. So I have here data warehouse, purpose class. Then I'll click next. Then you will be prompted to choose the database types. In this case, we are using MySQL. So I'll click on the drop down arrow and I'll look for the MySQL. Automatically your version will be fetched. So the login, I have or your user login. I have root, and I did not. This is in your PHP my admin, right? So I have my root, and I don't require any password. My server is localhost since I have it locally in my computer. The name of my database is DM. Let me check. Let me share my database. So I have here, I have this DM database. Okay. So let's go back to our talent. I have the name of my database, talent. I mean DM. Then I wanted, let us test the connection first before proceeding. So let's test the connection. And then once the connection is successful, we establish a successful connection. You have your connection successful, then click on OK, click finish. And then you have here data warehouse demo. Right click on the data warehouse demo and then choose retrieve schema. Okay. So what you're going to do now is that you're going to place all your data sources from the database into your talent. Okay. So click on next, and then I named the database talent. Then I'll check all. I want all the tables from my DM database in MySQL to be uploaded in my data warehouse. Then I'll click next, then finish. So as you can see, the subfolder under the connection data warehouse demo has now tables. So if you will check, you have here the different tables. You have here the columns, right? Okay. Now after establishing our data sources, let us go to our job. So let's go to job design. Let's create another job under my DM demo folder. I'll just do the right click, create job, and then I have here data warehouse demo, purpose class demo. Then I'll click on finish. Okay, so once created, you have this stage here. So now let us try to get the average orders from each customers. So example, we are using this database. Remember this? Remember this? This is your activity last time, right? So I created fact table. I call it fact sales, and then I have here the dimensions output, mode of payment, fruits and customers. Okay. So we created that one. So let's go back to our talent. Okay. So I wanted to put here my fact sales because in my fact table I have there the quantity. So once I drag, all you have to do is to click on the fact sales and drag it into the stage into your job stage. Then choose TDB input MySQL, then click on OK. So you have your fact sales. Then I wanted to include my dimension customers. So I'll drag it in on the stage, still input. Now I wanted to make sure that I will be able to get records both from fact sales, fact table, and the dimension customer table. And in this case, let's use PMAP. Okay. So when you're going to combine tables in Talent, you can either use TMAP or T-join. You can use TMAP and T-join. For TMAP, it is best used with aggregate row functions. For T-join, it is best used when you're going to filter the rows that will be included in your output. Okay, so on the right panel, you have here the palette for the different functions available in your OLAP software. So I'll have to type in here TMAP. And then I have TMAP. I'll drag TMAP into the stage. And then I will establish a connection from my fact table to my TMAP. So all I will do is click on the inner icon, make sure that this orange arrow will be displayed. You can click on the orange arrow and drag it to the TMAP function. So automatic you have here that the main source of our data is coming from the fact sale. So you have here. Now let's connect also our dimension customer to our TMAP. You will notice that it is row 2 and it is considered to be lookup, meaning whatever the data that can be found in the fact sales database can also be looked up into the table dimension customer. Okay, so after that, let's go, since we are going to perform an aggregate function, which is the average, so let's look for aggregate. So you have here, use the aggregate row. Okay. Aggregate row. Now I have to connect. In order for me to process the data that I have joined in my TMAP, I will have to connect the TMAP component to my aggregate row. So I'll have it here. I'll drag this to TMAP, and then I will have here average one. You notice that there is an arrow, so between the TMAP and the aggregate row. So first, let's configure our TMAP functionality or component. So double click on the TMAP component. So this will be, what do you call this one? This will be your window. So you have to make, so from the fact table, row 1, you have to map account number to row 2, and then after that you can drag account number to the aggregate function, and then you have here quantity, and then I also wanted to know who the customer is. So I have your customer. I'll just have this value here, customer. Let's try to change. Yeah, so I have that. So here at the lower corner, at the lower side, you have to check. So you can rearrange. So I want customer to be next to account number. Okay, so automatic here in your map you can what do you call this one? The arrangement also is updated. Customer, so I can do that and click on OK. Okay, now let's configure our aggregate component. Okay, so you have here, you have to check, you have to edit your schema. Click on edit schema. You have to make sure that the columns that you have from your input coming from from the TMAP are also present in the output. So all you have to do is, if you will use this, you have to select a particular column to be transferred here. If you want all these columns to be transferred to the output side, then just use this arrow. Just click on OK. So this will be the column names of my output for my data warehouse. And I'll click on OK. And then for the group by, you have the output column, account number, input column, position, account number. I want customer and customer input column. For the operations, I want quantity, and the function is average. Input column position, okay. Okay. So let's try to check. So this component has not enough row for the output. Okay, later let's try to check that later. Now let's configure for the output. Customer number, and we have quantity. Okay. So let's configure our output. Okay. For our output, I want it to be a file. So in my palette here on the right side, I want to put file. And I have to choose, if you don't have the recent one, look for file, then output, then file output, Excel here. Now I have to connect my aggregate row, which is the average quantity, to my output in Excel. Let's try to have this subtitle. Average quantity. And I click here, I'll go to the run job and compute. So as you will know that you have successfully run your, perform your data warehouse or run your data warehouse, because as you can see, the data coming from these data sources are being mapped to your TMAP and then being processed in your aggregate component and being sent to your output. But let us check what would be the output. I think kulang ang atong output. So the output is located in you go to drive C, go to program files where you have particularly installed your talent, look for talent folder, go to studio, then go to workspace, and let's check the out Excel sheet. So I'm hoping, so you have here. So notice that there are no column headings. So let's try to check why is it like this. Let's go. Okay, so here's the output. Sorry, I forgot to share the example. Here's the output. So notice that there are no column headings. So what we're going to do is to configure the, what do you call this one? To configure or to include the column headings. And we also wanted to see the number of decimal places. So let's go back to our talent. Go back to our talent. And then let's try to click on the, let's configure the output. As you can see, here's the file path. You can change the path, I mean the file name or the path itself, but I'd rather have my path in one location, I mean all my files in one location. So I have the average out, and then I have it include header. That's fine. Now let's go to our schema. So quantity is integer, so this is okay. Now let's try to save this. Then let's try to check your aggregate row. Check your customer number. Okay. So this is fine. Now let's try to rerun our job. So you will know that you have run successfully because there are no errors here. So let's go back to our workspace. Let's look for the average out. So you have here, if you're going to increase the decimal place, then you are, this is the average quantity for each. This is the average quantity ordered for each customers. Okay, so that's how you do data warehousing using Talent. So for your activity, I will be uploading an activity in Google Drive, and I will have to, I forgot to share the output. This is the output with, this is the output with your headers. Okay. So for your activity, I have uploaded it in Google Drive. You have there the database that you will be using, as well as the instruction. So in performing your activity, check the database, then you create a separate database for your data warehouse containing only the fact tables and the dimension tables for you to perform on Talent. Okay, so that's it, and have a good day.